to you a little bit about this jacket. Do you like my jacket? Yeah? Yeah? It's very special, especially to me, because I bought it from my niece. She's a med student at University of Texas, but she has a side hustle as an influencer on Instagram. So one Sunday afternoon, I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw this nice jacket. It looks like it's made of lots of different types of fabric. It's very unique, good quality, and my niece has amazing taste. It looked a lot better on her than it does on me, but then again, she's 23. Everything looks better on you when you're 23. So I clicked on this little shoppable post on Instagram, and I wanted to buy the jacket. Of course, it sends me to another website, so I had to go upstairs and find my credit card, which was a feat in and of itself. Then I had to put in it was a website I'd never heard of before. I still can't remember the name of it. I had to put in all my shipping details. I had to put in my payment details. And then I had to wait and hope that I was actually going to receive this jacket. And if I didn't like it, who was I going to return it to? Was I going to return it to Instagram, or was I going to return it to that boutique website? So that was my experience my first experience with kind of social commerce. But I want to ask you guys, is that social commerce? Raise your hand. Anyone? Anyone? It's kind of social commerce, but not quite yet. We're missing some links, and that's why we have all of you here, payments experts, to kind of complete the picture, because it was a wonderful experience, and that I'm buying something that I love. I'm very happy with this jacket, and I bought it from someone that I know, and I respect her decision-making when it comes to fashion, so that was special, and it gives me a nice memory, but it was a very, very clunky and painful experience. So that's something that we need to work on in the West. It's much better in the East. I mean, gosh, they've got it nailed down. And if you contrast that to China, there was a great story about something that happened last year. 2 influencers on Alipay sold $3 billion in product, $3 billion in cosmetics and fashion in one day off Alipay. Was it Li Jiaqi and Via? That is more, just to put that in context for you, $3 billion in one day, that is more than Amazon sells globally in one day. So it's massive. And for them, it's just like one click, you're buying it from a live streamer on Alipay. It's all instant and seamless, and then you get your stuff and you know who to deal with, who you're dealing with. So we have a long way to go in the West. But before I go any further, I'm going to show you what we believe the future is going to look like. So, a little video from Accenture.
A great shift is taking place. A de-evolution of power, driven by people. Transforming the online shopping experience. Social commerce. It's a $1 trillion opportunity. And it's growing 3 times faster than traditional e-commerce. But what actually is it? It's about how we engage with the things we love. Seamless experiences, the thrill of discovery, and so much more. Social commerce isn't click-through ads, but the complete integration of the social experience and commerce. It can be a midnight scroll, a live stream, a friend's recommendation, or the emergence of in-app shops. The opportunity is huge. Platforms and brands that adapt to empower people can unlock value at every link in the commerce chain.
Yes. So social commerce, to me, the ideal social commerce, it's a magical, serendipitous shopping experience. So that when I'm actually engaging on social media or certain marketplaces and seeing live streamers and seeing influencers and creators that I really like and admire, I can just buy things as I'm enjoying my daily experience. And it's all kind of integrated so that it's one single path to purchase without having to actually leave where I'm spending my time. So now let me just go a little bit as a walk down, to put this all into context, talk a little bit about the evolution of commerce. So if you think about back in there. There's an example here, Borough Market. Borough Market was invented back or launched back in the 1700s. So I imagine back then you would go to Borough Market and you would trade 10 chickens for a pig, right? So it was a very social experience because you're actually in a farmer's market and you're exchanging goods and services and you're meeting with local farmers. It's a lot of fun. And physical retail evolved into the high street, and then you had shopping malls and superstores like Walmart. And this is still, to this day, 75% of commerce. So retail is still 75% of commerce, but it's evolving and it's not growing quite as fast as e-commerce and other lots. So the next came along was e-commerce. Amazon, well, I should say Jeff Bezos, back in 1994, decided he was going to sell books on the internet. So Amazon came along, and one of the things that Jeff got right from the very beginning was he knew he had to get payments right, because no one's going to buy books off the internet without a very slick paying experience. So they invented the one-click checkout, something that people trusted and they still trust to this day. Then in 1999, Alibaba came about, and they created the first marketplace. So the marketplace was really a unique innovation in that they didn't own any inventory, they didn't have any warehouses, they didn't do any delivery. They simply connected buyers and sellers. And one of the things that they had to do to make that work was escrow payments, because no one's going to want to sell to someone and send them a good without knowing that they're going to get paid. And no one's going to want to pay a seller when they don't know if they're really going to get the item. So Jack Ma recognized the fact that you have to, again, get payments right. And he created Alipay to facilitate this wonderful marketplace. That was the next big innovation in commerce and how payments kind of rose up to meet the challenges and meet the needs of consumers. Now we're moving forward onto social commerce. As I said, it's really slick in Asia. I think they've kind of leapfrogged us. Here in the West, in Europe, it's more about click-through ads. But we're starting to, I think that if you look at Gen Z, you're going to see that people are wanting to embrace social commerce. We just need to come together as a community to make sure that we put the right payments in place. And of course, I'm going to introduce you to some great panelists in a short while, where these guys are going to come up with the solutions for us in the future. And then one of my favorite topics is super apps. So I'm a big fan of super apps. I believe that everyone says, I get in debates with people about this all the time. All of my friends in this part of the world say, there's no way, we're never going to adopt this super app concept that they have in Asia. That's a pure China thing. And I say, I don't know. I believe it's coming. It's happening. And I'll show you a little bit more about that in a second, why I believe it's going to happen. It's all about convergence. And of course, yesterday we talked about the metaverse. So we're going all the way into Web3, metaverse. We're going to have new types of payments there. We listened to Dave Birch yesterday talk about not only the metaverse, but also going into exchanging value through the metaverse through tokenization, NFTs, being able to have both walled and open gardens. That's the next thing. So 25% of commerce are through these 5 channels, right? But they are growing rapidly. And if I think about how fast social commerce is growing 8 times faster than physical retail, and it's growing 3 times faster than e-commerce. So, and it's currently about 5% of e-commerce in Europe. It's about 30% of e-commerce in Asia. Super app, I mentioned this a little bit ago, and the thing that's driving super apps in the West, I believe, this is my opinion, is first the rise of Gen Z. So they're more likely to adopt and be willing to have one app that has multiple mini programs within the app. The second thing is that we're moving towards a mobile-first world. We don't go to the younger people. I talked to someone earlier about this, the fact that young folks look at websites and think, oh, that's so yesterday, that's so 80s, it's legacy. They're all about mobile and about social. The third thing is that there's a plethora of choice, and we are at this point getting a sort of subscription fatigue. So we want a bit of consolidation. I'm not saying there will be one app to rule them all, but I'm saying there will be some level of consolidation. You're going to see this convergence between commerce, financial services, and social experiences. So as these worlds come together, and they are definitely coming together. We all talk about embedded finance and embedded commerce and embedded payments. That's just another word for saying convergence. Who's embedding what into whom doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you might see a Revolut be a super app and move into commerce. That's one of their stated goals. They say we are not just a financial services super app. We're going to move into commerce in a big way. You might see a payment company like a Klarna or a PayPal or something developing into a super app, or you might see a WhatsApp or a Meta becoming a super app. Who knows where it's going to come from, but there's going to be some level of convergence. So what is social commerce? Hopefully by now you have a little bit of a sense of what social commerce is, but again, the definition that we use is that it is the integration of social experiences and commerce into a single path to purchase. What it is not click-through ads. So right now probably 97%, it could be different, but 90-something percent of Meta's revenues would be advertising, but that could shift dramatically to social commerce if we get the payment then transactional platform correct, or through partnerships. Not that they have to integrate it completely, but they could partner with the likes of an Amazon Pay or someone else to bring it to life. There are different types of social commerce. There's content-driven. That's where you have the clickable shopping, shoppable posts. There's experience-driven. That could be, Twitch. It could be AR, VR. It could be trying on the headsets and being able to do a virtual try-on like you have through Snap. It could be network-driven, where you're able to, this is great from the recycling standpoint because a lot of people are starting to sell to each other. So you're selling through Facebook Marketplace, and you're getting the sharing economy is a big thing for sustainability. So I think social commerce is both fun, and it could actually help us with sustainability as well. Ecosystem. The thing I'm most excited about personally with social commerce is this dynamic ecosystem. As you saw in the video, we call it people-powered commerce. And that's why in this little diagram here, you'll see people at the top. And people, users of social commerce, can become influencers. They become shoppers, they become influencers, they become creators, they become sellers or merchants, and they can even become mini brands. You might start off as an influencer selling, advertising kind of yoga mats, and eventually, you start doing yoga classes and you start branding the yoga mats with your own logo. You become a brand in and of yourself. So it does create this amazing dynamic ecosystem, all powered by the payment partners that are underneath it. It could be a Stripe. We're going to hear from Stripe a little bit later, and Amazon Pay. It could be Tap to Pay. So you've got all these different payment providers. You've got the platforms in and of themselves, and you've got retailers and big brands who are trying to sell through this as well. Getting calls all the time from big brands who say, how do I tap into this market? Size matters. It is a $1.2 trillion industry by 2025. So we're seeing it grow, like I said, 8 times faster than retail, 3 times faster than e-commerce. And in China, it is still, even though it's massive, these bubbles represent the size of the market by region. And you see China is off the chart, but it's still growing at over 28% CAGR. And you're looking in the US, at the moment, it's 6% of e-commerce, and it's growing at 25% compounded annual growth rate. UK, it's growing at 27% annual growth rate. So it's definitely something to keep your eye on. And what's driving this? It's really being driven by the fact that everyone can be a creator. It's also the fact that people want different relationships with their customers. They want to have a deeper, closer relationship with their customer. Third, Gen Z coming of age and getting money. They're changing the way that we're shopping. Third, targeted advertising is getting tougher. We're moving into a cookieless world. So social commerce gives you a chance to reach your customers in a different way. Shopping is everyone's like embracing this idea of serendipitous shopping, where you don't even know you're shopping. I come across my niece's post and decide I'm going to buy this jacket and wear it to MPE, so I need something jazzy. And last, and this is probably the most important thing, is that we all crave authenticity. People are getting tired of the glossy advertising. They want an authentic experience. They want to buy from people that they trust and they know. So that's it for me on social commerce. Thank you for listening. And now we're going to listen to some experts.